Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and to the witnesses, let me apologize. Suffice it to say, even by Washington, D.C. standards, this has been something of a rollicking day here in the nation's capital. So I appreciate your patience. Mr. Smith, we're particularly proud of you. I think the Clean Energy Works program and sort of the trailblazing effort that you've led, which of course is part of our tradition, is really special because you have been able to accomplish what essentially folks in the Congress just dream of. You have brought the utilities together, small business folks together, the State Public Utility Commission, our lending institutions, urban and rural folks together for an effort to promote clean energy and particularly prime the energy efficiency pump. And this is especially important right now because I think it's pretty obvious that the well for taxpayer financed incentives for a variety of energy technologies is running dry and really at every level of government. So if anything, it's more important than ever to try to put the premium on innovation, particularly as it relates to energy efficient investments. And it's, of course, easier said than done, but clearly to find a way to bring these investments to homes, buildings, and factories means that you've got to look at a variety of new approaches. That's what we've done in our state. It really began with the bottle bill, and particularly relevant is 10 years ago we started the Oregon Energy Trust, and that brought a surcharge on utility bills to finance energy efficiency, and it has saved Oregonians about $800 million so far. So it's generating real savings as we chart the path to a cleaner and more energy efficient future. So I want to ask you specifically about how we really began that effort, and particularly the role that on-bill financing plays in your program. I mean, with customers repaying energy-efficient loans on their monthly utility bills, the first question everybody asks is, how in the world do you get the utility companies to go along with this? Because I want to see if we can build, as we have often on this Oregon model, of bringing the players together. And tell us a little bit, first of all, how you were able to get the utility companies to go along, and how you built this coalition that has, in effect, grown and become widely accepted, where in most places you can't get these folks to even talk to each other, let alone come together around a program you're talking about. So start with utility companies and how you built this coalition.
Well, thank you, Senator. Thank you. I mentioned your leadership before you entered the room, and we couldn't be here without you, so we really appreciate that. I really appreciate the point of supporting innovation. I think that's, to Senator Franklin's point, that our question, that is really what the government can do, I believe, is to support these innovations that are going on out there. On-bill started in Oregon over 3 years ago. We have progressive utilities by comparison to other parts of the country. We're very lucky to have that. But the reality is that they, using their bill for repayment of loans is not what they're in the business of doing, presents some risk to them. And so they were compelled to do so through state law that was sponsored by Representative Jules Bailey and others in the state legislature and passed by the state in 2009. And that law, as it was being developed, was built with a broad stakeholder engagement process, and where we had contractors, utilities, lenders, everybody involved, as you mentioned, and that is sort of the Oregon way, which you of course champion. And it's through that broad stakeholder engagement that we're going to get these solutions. That's the only way we're going to get to the real innovation that leads to ways that these things actually work. What we have experienced with on-bill, and the utilities have been wonderful and supportive of really cataloging the challenges with this on a day-to-day basis. So there's information sharing challenges. There are challenges with trying to get payment of capital into the utility, not into the utility, but collected by the utility and then back to the lender. There's a lot of intricacies with this type of approach, and it doesn't also solve every solution that there is. It's on-bill is important, and it's one segment of the population that has a solution to this larger problem, but we really need to get a bunch of lenders involved. We need to have multiple loan products that serve multiple needs.
Let me, if I might, because my time is, I'm just a few seconds over. Mr. Chairman, can I just ask one additional question? Even though you generated significant private sector support, you did get some government help at the beginning.
We did.
Why don't you, and if any other panel member wants to get into this, get into the question of, based on your experience, how long do you think programs like Clean Energy Works are going to require a role for government? In other words, at a time of dwindling, resources, and I very much share Senator Franken's view on this effort to spark innovation. I think that's exactly where we want to be. We're still going to find a lot of programs needing a bit of governmental support in order to get out of the gate. How long do you, and perhaps other witnesses want to chime in on this, how long do you see that taking in terms of getting to the point where you have critical, mass, and you don't have federal and state support, which is going to be hard to generate right now? How do you get there?
Well, I do respect very much the budget decisions that you all need to make. I mean, it's a very, very large decisions, and I think what we're trying to build here is a performance-based model where we are showing that investment, public investment, actually results in real returns, and we have the data to share that. So as you make decisions, you might consider looking at where you actually know you're going to get proven returns in economic development, if it's economic development that you want. If we want to support this industry and grow it because we believe in the returns that we've all said are win-win-win, then it does require some, or it can benefit. We can accelerate those outcomes through further investment. I believe they're more wise right now on the rebate side to get consumers involved, because until home valuations and property valuations recognize in real estate transactions the improvements made by energy efficiency, I think we're going to need further investment. I think it's maybe, it's really hard to guess. There's a lot of markers that we need to watch, but 2-3 years, I think, is what we feel the real estate industry needs to turn around and really recognize these improvements, and we need market adoption to grow such that people talk about doing energy efficiency remodels like they would a kitchen remodel or a bathroom remodel. And I think
I'm way over my time. If any of you would, even for the record, furnish a written answer to the question of how long, in your judgment, because Mr. Smith thought maybe 3 years, how long you think it takes to get to critical mass so that the government's support can go by the boards. Mr. Chairman, thank you for the extra time.
Thank you, Senator.